Hello, everybody. My name is Amo Oldfield, and this is How to Be a Better Manager. Whether you are currently a manager or are considering possibly being one in the future, there are tips and tricks that all managers should use to create a better work environment and more motivated workers. Today, I'll be going over some of those tips. So sit back, relax, and listen, as you just might learn something new. The first tip I want to talk about is getting to know your team. The members of your team will all have different personalities, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities for growth and development, different ways that they like to work and communicate, whether it be in person or online, different things that motivate them, whether it be money, opportunities to rise and rank. They'll have different career goals, interests and passions, and responsibilities outside of work. Getting to know your team will help determine what management style works best. Not everybody is the same, so why would they react the same way to a specific style of management? The second trick I want to talk about is evaluating your management style. Your management style can impact the company you're working for by increasing employee retention and company profitability, for example. Take the time to evaluate your management style and understand if it's a correct approach given your team and company. Don't be afraid to test out a few different management styles if you're not sure what works. And give it time. Don't jump from one management style to another in the span of a few days, as it can confuse both yourself and those you are managing. You will learn more about those you are managing and how they react to a specific style of management if you take the time to evaluate how those you are managing react to your different styles of management. The third tip I want to talk about is set up regular check-ins. Hold at least weekly check-ins with your team. This will provide clear communication between yourself and your team and show that there is an open line of communication for both yourself to talk to those who are managing, as well as those who are managing to talk to yourself. This can keep employees engaged and motivated. But it also gives you ideas about what you can improve and what you're doing well. This will help improve your overall management style. The fourth tip I want to talk about is leading by example. Leading by example can show your team the kinds of things you want them to be doing. If you lead by example, it is more likely that they will take your words and what you want them to do to heart than if you simply tell them what you want them to do. This can include being on time to work in meetings, meeting or beating deadlines, responding promptly to different forms of communication, whether they be emails, texts, treating coworkers with kindness and respect, practicing a good work-life balance, using mistakes as opportunities to learn instead of getting down on yourself and others, and being appreciative and recognizing where others are doing a good job. The next tip I want to talk about is creating an environment that is safe both physically and psychologically to those you are managing. While physical safety is important, it is just as important to create a space that is psychologically safe. A psychologically safe workspace can promote employee engagement, productivity, and a better performing team overall. Creating a psychologically safe workspace means creating an inclusive environment. In a psychologically safe workplace, employees feel as though they can speak up about their ideas, take risks when it comes to their work, and make mistakes without being punished or shamed for them. The next tip that all good managers should be using is setting clear expectations and goals. Unclear expectations and goals can be frustrating to workers. Clear expectations and goals can help workers stay productive and focused as they understand what needs to be done. Setting clear expectations and goals also allows the team to ask questions about their goals and expectations that are set so everyone is on the same page. The next tip is to give and receive feedback. This allows workers to feel as though they have room to grow and that the work they are doing is meaningful to them, their manager, and the company. Be sure to identify the workers' good points instead of their mistakes and what they're doing wrong. When pointing out things workers can improve on, keep it positive and gentle feedback instead of insulting. Be open to receiving feedback from those who are managing, as it can help improve the way you manage your team. The next trick that all good managers should be using is providing opportunities for growth and development. Workers are more likely to stay with a company longer if there are opportunities for growth and to move up the corporate ladder. Most workers want to improve on their skills at their place of work. Many workers quit their jobs after realizing there is no room for professional development. Providing opportunities for growth and development can help retain employees, attract talent, and create a more diverse workforce. The next tip that I wanted to talk about is attend manager training. While this can be especially helpful for those who are new at managing, it can help managers improve whether they are new to managing or they've been doing it for a long time. There is always more to learn. There is always room to grow, and attending training meetings for managers can help one understand where to improve and what they can do to create a better workplace. Make sure to take care of yourself. Many managers find it difficult to practice self-care. However, that can lead to negative side effects for both yourself and your team. Not taking good enough care of yourself can lead to poor concentration, low energy, poor sleep, irritability, hopelessness, less patience, and increase of symptoms for any mental health issues you may have, headaches, stomach aches, and other physical problems. Most managers have certain characteristics. These include being positive, being collaborative, having integrity, being growth oriented, being curious, being transparent, being confident, and having empathy. I'm here with my father, Jason Oldfield, who is currently a sales manager for Mitsubishi. He has been a sales manager for over 20 years. He is here today because I'm going to ask him several questions about both himself and what he thinks it means to be a good manager. So, first off, can you give me a basic overview of your work experience?
Sure. I graduated from RIT with a mechanical engineering degree. After that, I went and started as an applications engineer, which is a sales role, but it's more of a sales support role. You're a technical resource. From there, I went into sales directly, and quite soon after that, really became a sales manager, really more managing of a sales territory than people. And for the last 2 years, I've been working for Mitsubishi Automation as a sales manager for the Northeast in Canada.
Thank you. What would you describe your management style as?
In general, I would say I'm a hands off coach. I like to work with my team, but I'm certainly not a micromanager. I don't need to be involved in the daily activities of my team. I need to know what they're doing and make sure they're doing the right things, but I'm not looking to try into micromanaging what they're doing on a daily basis. Just from a general overview, understand and really help them and be there for them to help them grow and provide the assistance that they need when they come to me looking for assistance.
What are some things you think you do well as a manager?
I listen. That's the big thing is I listen to what my employees are telling me and how they're asking me for help, and then again try to provide guidance based on my own experiences that I've had in my career. Again, kind of leading back to the last question, I don't like to micromanage. I don't like to direct. I like to let people essentially experience and kind of grow and learn as they go along. And then look back retrospectively as far as what they have done and try to say, okay, what worked well in that situation and what didn't work so well. But definitely overall, I think I work very well as a coach and I do well listening and then providing feedback and suggestions to my team.
I'm sure you're a great manager, but there are also probably things that you could improve upon. What do you think that you could improve upon as a manager?
Well, you could probably guess from my answers from the previous questions, I'm not a big director, if you will. So when it comes to telling people specifically, hey, you did things poorly, or you need to go do this, whatever it might be, that's definitely not a strong suit. Nobody likes confrontation. Well, at least I don't like confrontation. So when it gets to having to tell somebody that they're doing something bad, it's not something that I generally do extremely well. Again, I can coach. I can tell people, all right, this didn't work out so well, and you can improve upon what you did by doing X, Y, and Z. But overall, as far as when it comes to being a disciplinarian, if you will, that probably isn't one of my strong suits.
How do you communicate with those you manage? For example, do you hold team meetings? And how do you communicate one on one with those you manage?
So I do hold team meetings. I hold a monthly team meeting. Actually, we hold two monthly team meetings at this point. The first team meeting actually includes not only my team, but also others that are outside of my team that would like to know what's happening with my team. And the second really is a more intimate team only meeting. So we can be very open and honest with one another as far as what we're seeing and what is going on. From there, I hold one on one meetings with the employees that would like to have one on one meetings. Not everybody wants to. Some people just like to have a casual checkup every once in a while. How are things going? But for some employees, they really value having some of my time a couple of times a month. So we schedule a bi weekly meeting, for example, and though it's generally scheduled to be a short meeting, usually it ends up turning into being a longer meeting as we start talking about what's been happening over the last few weeks since the last time we've met. Communication is important. You really need to know not only what's going on with your team, but they want to hear, your team wants to hear from you as a manager as well. Um, just had a conversation today with one of my team members who basically said, yes, I really do enjoy spending time with you and learning from you and having you as a mentor kind of leading me. So some people are looking for that. Others, they just want to be left alone and be able to learn a little bit more independently.
Do you have any tips for someone who may want to become a manager?
I think the first tip I would say is that it's not necessarily all it's cracked up to be. You might think, oh, geez, it'd be great to be the boss. But with that comes extra responsibilities that you may not have thought about. There are things like performance reviews that at Mitsubishi we do two times a year. And doing performance evaluations of your team members takes quite a bit of time. From there, outside of that, again, I would, me personally, I prefer being a coach and trying to be positive and listening to your team and then providing valuable feedback. And rather than being negative and telling people, hey, here's the things that you did negatively, these are the areas that you could potentially improve upon. You did this really well, but here's an opportunity for you to potentially improve by doing this differently than the way you did it next time. So try to keep an upbeat, positive attitude. And I think if you do that, you'll generally create a team that will want to do well for you. I myself know that I've never done extremely well having somebody providing me nothing but negative feedback. For me, that just makes me want to shut down. But when you come to me and you tell me, hey, Jason, you've done a good job, that makes me want to do even better for you. So keep that positive, upbeat attitude, and I think your team will run through a wall for you when given the opportunity.
Thank you for allowing me to interview you today. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Taking on the role of a manager can be a big step in one's professional journey. However, while it is an exciting step, it can also be overwhelming, especially for those who aren't used to being a leader. I hope that you were able to learn something in this podcast that you can take with you, whether you are currently a manager or considering possibly being one in the future. Thank you for anyone who has taken the time to listen today. I'm Amo Oldfield, and this has been How to Be a Better Manager.